series number 1 of webinars, and it's going to be an amazing presentation. No? So please stay tuned, and we are going to check later about that. Remember that these webinars are sponsored by Yachay Tech University, the Universidad Nacional de Educación, ITEP, and we are ECUATESOL, the affiliate of TESOL International. Please do not forget the same thing to visit our website, our YouTube channel. All these webinars are being uploaded in the YouTube channel. So please get there. And if you have any questions, you can comment as well in the videos. We are going to answer those questions. And if you want to use that as a material to teach your students, if you are a teacher from Pine or from another careers, you can do it as well. Those are free resources that we are uploading in our YouTube channel. And the same thing about our social media. We are in Instagram as ECUATESOL, so you can follow us. And please, if you want to be part of ECUATESOL, you can QR code this, or you can find the forms for registration to be an ECUATESOL member. Remember that if you are an ECUATESOL member, you have different you receive free webinars, you receive free training, so it's good to be part of an association as well. So if you want to be part of that, please register. We don't charge any fee, it's completely free, and you will have a lot of benefits for that. And the ECUATESOL network, please, the same thing. If you are not part, be part of our ECUATESOL network that we have in WhatsApp group. So we are always sending the information about webinar, training courses, and everything that ECUATESOL is doing. All right, the same thing, our email address at ecuatesol@gmail.com. If you want to contact us, if you want to be volunteer of ECUATESOL, if you want to receive a letter or something, please let us know through email as well. We will be more than happy to receive your information, to receive your suggestions, your comments, and provide any kind of information that you will need. Okay, so I won't take more time because we have an interesting and amazing webinar today presented by, I have the honor to be colleague and friend of Erick Pacheco. He is professor in the Universidad Yachay Tech University in close to Ibarra in Urcuqui, and he is the principal of research as well in our institution for the Dirección de Idiomas. So he has a lot of experience, and today he will be talking about enhancing EFL teaching PDP framework for effective listening and reading skills lessons. So let me introduce Erick. I would like to read Erick something about your bio. So Erick is CELTA qualified teacher, instructor, and trainer with a master's degree in English language teaching and a C1 level certificate of language proficiency by a Cambridge Advanced in UK, with common of TFL methodology such as lesson planning, classroom management, monitoring, feedback, and assessment, collaborative participant, generator of creative ideas for the success of academic projects, former facilitator at Ecuador Habla Inglés online program sponsored by the U.S. Embassy, more than 13 years of experience in higher education institutions, tenured teacher and permanent teacher at Yachay Tech Universities. His research interests are in TFL methodology, e-learning technology and artificial intelligence, inclusive education, academic impediments for EFL learners, linguistic problems, and cultural applications for learning. So he has a lot of experience. Please take advantage about his webinar today, and welcome Erick to be part of our webinars. Thanks for your willingness to participate today and helping us in support ECUATESOL, and welcome. The session is all yours.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and I am absolutely honored to be here and to be part as a speaker of these marvelous webinar series number 1. And yeah, so let's begin with the lesson or the presentation. So let me know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, Erick, very clear.
Well, thank you, Daniel. All right, yes. So Today's talk is about enhancing EFL teaching. We are gonna discuss about the different activities that we can use when we are teaching a listening or a reading lesson. This framework is gonna be very useful. I mean, of course, some of you are experienced with your listening and reading lessons, and maybe some of you uh, are using these these types of activities, of course. So, but maybe especially for those who are a little bit less experienced, maybe this is going to be really useful. Okay, so let's begin first by starting with a demo lesson. I am going to pretend that I am teaching the lesson. So it's going to be very quickly. It's not, you don't have to, respond the questions. It's just the demo, just to use it as an example for the explanation of the different stages that I will be talking in this conference. So this is the demo lesson. I chose a listening demo lesson, and from the book that we are currently using in Yachai. So it's the American Language Hub. It's a good book, a good resource from Macmillan. And one of these lessons they are related to people and to friendship. This lesson is related to friendship. So the title of the lesson is Who We Are. And for the first part of the lesson, so I ask questions to the students. So, for example, how many close friends do you have? What qualities do you look for in a friend? And do you think friends influence your success? If so, how? These are the questions for the students, and at the very beginning of the of the of the lesson, and then so after they respond, so voluntarily responses collecting from the different participants in the lesson. So we are moving to the first listening. In the first listening, so what they did is this: they had to listen to the beginning of the interview. It's an interview about friendship, and they have to check which statements are true according to what they listen. So there are three options. Maybe they can tick all of them, maybe just two of them, maybe just one of them. So just you have to let them choose by themselves. So if maybe the time consumption of the activity is a little bit longer, maybe you just mention exactly how many true statements they have to take. If you have like in our case in Dutch, so we have 2 hours, 2 hours of a lesson, so I can take the time to just let them choose for free, you know. And then if your lesson is just 45 minutes or 60 minutes lesson, maybe you can just tell them, okay, there are uh, two statements are true and one is false, or there's one statement true and two statement false. So you just let them know. And in this for this part, they have to choose two statements uh, that are true according to what they listen. And here, when they just tick, they move to the next part of the lesson. Here, then the options are: we can maintain friendships with hundreds of people. We need exactly 6 friends to be successful, and social media friends aren't always real friends. Okay, so this is what they have to do. So maybe at the beginning, if they don't know some of the vocabulary presented in the question, the options, so maybe you can clarify maybe some of the words if you have time. So, and then you click just another thing, a clarification before I continue. This lesson is for B2 learners. Okay, so then they listen to the track, and when they listen, They finish with that activity. We move to the next activity with the same recording. So they in this second listening, so what they have to do is complete a chart. This is just a section of the chart. The chart is composed of 6 type of friends. I just because of the Lemon lesson, I just chose three in the options. So, but the chart actually is made up of 6 type of friends. So here in this chart, what they have to do is complete or fill in the blanks in this chart. So they have type of friends. One type of friends is done for them. So the open-minded adventurer is done for them. So they have like the idea of what they have to include in the information. So the key characteristics and why that characteristic or that kind of friend is important. So play the recording for the second time, and what they do is complete. So it's gonna be the same recording, and then what they have to do is just try to complete with the details about the type of friends mentioned. Right after that, when they finish with this activity, so they have to move to the next one. In the next one is they have to listen for a third time, the same recording, but this time they have to number the type of friends in order mentioned in the track. So here, as I mentioned before, so there are 6 types of friends. I just included here just for the demo lesson, just 3 types. So neighbors, honest friends, work colleagues. So this at the moment that they are appearing in the interview, so they have to number. So neighbors was mentioned first, so neighbors is number 1. Work colleagues were mentioned second, so it's gonna be number 2, and so well, so that's what they have to do with the listening activity. When these 3 stages of the listening activity finish, this is the second P in the PDP format or framework. This is for the post listening. In the post listening, what they had to do is they had to draw a personal friendship map categorizing their friends according to the 6 types mentioned in the interview. And they have to present a poster with this. So according to the characteristics of the friends, so they can mention exactly the name of that friend. For instance, Pedro, his neighbor, Juan is work colleagues, and so on. So they have to present the name of their friends according to the different categories presented in the recording. So, and that would be the end of that lesson. And of course, this is the end of the demo lesson that I presented. Okay, so anyway, all the time I'm gonna go back to the different stages of this lesson for you to refresh your memory and maybe to respond the questions that I'm going to ask you. And this is the first question that I would like you to send maybe through the chat box here. So, or maybe if you want to just open your microphone, feel free to do it, and you can provide a response. Okay, according to the demo lesson presented, you have to choose which option fits best the lesson objective. So it's gonna be A, option B, or option C. So take your time, read the lesson objective, and you will tell me, as I mentioned before, you can do it in the chat box, or you can open your microphone and say A, B, C, the one that you consider is the best lesson objective for the demo presented. So, of course, all of them begins with SWBAT, which stands for students will be able to, right? So, and then you have the different situations. As you can notice, in all of these lesson objectives, so what is repeated is the words that are in red. Show understanding of, by, and then. So the activities are different. So feel free to send your response in the chat box. Which one do you think it was the objective of the lesson, of the demo lesson? Let me just maybe go back a little bit so you can remember the different. Okay, so I have some responses. Yeah, so, and all of the responses mention letter B. Yes, letter B. Okay, so let's have a look. Letter B. Students will be able to show understanding of types of friends by completing a chart and then drawing a personal friendship map to categorize their friends. Yes, that is the lesson objective. So if we just compare, or we just confirm that that is the correct answer, let's see what we have to do at the moment of writing the objective for a listening or a reading lesson plan. So this is the structure. So when you are trying to use the PDP framework, the pre, during, and post framework, this is, first you have to begin your objective with the statement, by the end of the lesson students will be able to, and then always you need to use this expression, show understanding of. Show understanding of what? Of the text. Could be the reading text or the listening text. So, and in this case, yes, it was types of friend. Types of friend is the name or the title of this lesson. So that is the text, types of friends. By what? By doing what? An observable student action showing the most complete or deep understanding of the text. Let me go back to the lesson objective, and here is presented completing a chart. Completing a chart. Yes, completing a chart in this particular lesson is the most complete, or the stage with the deeper understanding of the recording. So for that reason, when we have this, we can use the completing a chart. Let's see why, but I'm really, really sure that you know why the other options are not possible, because the most important, ranking the different types of friends, no, that wasn't the most important part of the lesson. And in the option C, making a poster about the topic, no, that is because the poster is the post uh, stage, and that is not an activity related to the recording. So remember, in this section in by, you have to mention from the three stages, from the early and then the later and the final during. From these three stages, you have to recognize which one is the most important, the most relevant, the one that they are going to show the deeper understanding of the, in this case, the recording. But remember, not because I'm just mentioning a recording, so you can also use a text in case you are doing a reading lesson. After that, so we have, and then, and what is that? So when we use this explanation, and then is the activity that expands on or personalizes the idea or ideas in the text. So here is more personal. It's something that the students, they can do with talking about their experiences. I mean, it's something that they do according to what they know. Here in the letter B, we mentioned about drawing a personal friendship map to categorize their friends. Yes. So here, this was the activity that they had to do. So if I go back, so it was this. They had to draw a personal friendship map categorizing their friends according to the 6 types mentioned. So, and they presented at the end. Okay. So that is about the objective of the lesson. So, and as I as I could see in the responses to the chat box. So you were all correct. Okay, so but what is a PDP in a lesson plan? Well, this lesson framework help us to plan and deliver effective listening. Not only a recording can be also a video or a reading lesson. I mean, so we are talking about receptive skills. The framework is based on research, and using it helps ensure students are motivated, engaged, and active before, while, and after. I mean, with the pre, the during, and post stages of the skill. Could be listening, watching, or reading something. So that's why it's a PDP framework. Pre, during, and post, and is represented in the shape of a diamond. So why is presented in the shape of diamond? What do you think is presented in a shape of diamond? Can someone very quickly maybe participate and perhaps in the chat box or open your microphone? Can you make some guesses about what you think this lesson plan is presented in that particular shape? Is not in a triangle, is not in a circle, is not in a rectangle, is in a diamond shape. Why do you think is presented in that particular shape? So the pre, during, and post. So if I have some responses, maybe feel free to say it or to type it. Okay, so I have one. I guess because the pre does not take long time. Yes, you are right, Tanya. Yes, it's because of the time consumption. Yeah, it's related to the time consumption, and the during takes more time. That's correct. You are right, Tanya. Yes. So it's presented in this shape is because of the time consumption. So in the pre and the post, the time is reduced in comparison to the during stages. So the during stage actually is divided in three sub stages. In the during stage, you have the early during stage, you have the later during stage, and then you have the final during stage. You have three sub stages, we could say, three sub stages for the during stage. So that's why it's presented in this shape. Good. Let's move to the next part. Okay, so here, please, you can use your mobile phones or you can go to the link that is here in the presentation with a word wall exercise about the PDP stage descriptions. Now, what you have to do is go to word wall. You will see, or you have to match the definition or the characteristic of the different PDP stages with the stages. So there are like 5 stages as a whole. You have the pre stage, you have the early during stage, then you have the later during stage, the final during stage, and at the end you have the post stage of the lesson. You have 5 stages, you have 5 description. So let me know if you could access to the word wall, and then I will be checking if you are responding in the word site. Okay, so this is gonna take you no more than 1 minute. So you just read quickly the definition or the characteristic of the stage, and then you are going to match it with the different stages. So yeah, what I am going to do is this, just waiting for your responses. I'm gonna share in a couple of seconds. I'm gonna share the responses for the word wall exercise. But anyway, so can you please, in the chat box, any of the participants, can you please confirm that you could access to word wall? Just let me know. Maybe you are busy responding the exercise. Yes, okay, good. So yeah, take your time. It's gonna take you like just 1 minute, no more than that. And then I will share the answers with you. Okay, I guess some of you are already done. Okay, so I'm gonna share my what wall with you. Okay, can you see now my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your feedback. All right. So let's see here. Of course, they are not in the order. So let me just look for the pre-stage. Okay, number two. Okay, let's focus our attention on number two, the pre-stage. The purpose of this stage is to get students ready to listen or read. This is a short stage of the lesson, usually only lasting 5 to 10 minutes of a 60-minute lesson or 2 to 5 minutes of a 40-minute lesson. So, I mean, you can just decide how long it's going to last that activity depending on how long is your actual lesson. Okay. So then after that, so the second activity that we have is the early during stage. This is the number 5 is the second activity. What is this? Is the name is early during stage. And what is the characteristic? So with this stage, students, they identify main ideas, general content, the purpose and or keywords, and they serve as a foundation for later activities. That is the second activity, the early during stage. Moving to the next stage, we have just the later, the number 1, later during stage. This is the second time where the students, they have to listen to the recording or they have to read for the second time a text. So the characteristics is get students to start obtaining details, reasons, examples, specific information. They build on the earlier during activities and serve as a foundation for the final during task. Next, we have the final during stage, which here in my screen is number 3, is the final during stage. And what is characterized by, so they have to get students to reach beyond what they could understand the first time they interact with the text. Here in this stage, they need to interpret, they can infer or identify further details and specific information, deciphering particularly challenging parts of the text. Normally, the final during stage and the later during stage, normally these are the 2 stages in which they show a deeper understanding of the text. And one of these 2 activities is the one that you have to mention in your lesson objective that I shared with you earlier. Could be the later or could be the final during stage. Both can serve as the objective of the lesson. You just decide which one is going to be the most significant activity that they have to complete. And when this final during stage is over, of course, we have the last stage of the PDP lesson, which is the pause stage, number 4 here in my screen. So the pause stage, this is the stage where students make connections with other skills and with personal opinions or experiences. I mean, it's not only just listening to the track or reading a text, but they need to make connections. They need to like internalize what they have listened, what they have read, but how this internalization takes part when they try to make them as their own. I mean, talking about their personal opinions, their personal experiences. This stage is not essential in order for students to meet receptive skills objectives. So no, it's not essential, but it serves to make receptive skills development feel meaningful, relevant, and worthwhile. So, of course, because in this post stage, they are not produced, I mean, they are not just using the skills of the reading and listening because those are receptive skills. But in this post stage, normally is for productive skills. So in this case, they can speak or they can write. I will show you some of the alternatives or activities that they can use at this stage um, later. Okay, so but this is the characteristic of the post stage. This is the final stage of the lesson and usually lasts 10 to 20 minutes of a 60-minute lesson or 5 to 10 minutes of a 40-minute lesson. So that's what we have for the description of the PDP stages. Okay, well, let's move to the next one. Okay, so here I am presenting now what could be some exercises, activities that your students can do with the different stages. But for that, let me just share another practice with you, okay? You are going to practice this time with Mentimeter. I don't know if you have used Mentimeter before, but now I am sharing with you the QR code. Please scan that QR code, and that QR code will take you to activities, to this one, activities for the different stages in a PDP lesson plan. So here, try to respond by choosing which of the following activities was used in the pre-stage of the demo lesson. Remember my demo lesson. The pre-stage activity. Remember that I show you a picture with some ladies and I ask some questions. So, well, you have to choose which one was the um, activity that was presented in that demo lesson. Do you think, if you think it was just looking at the picture and make guesses, if you consider that is the activity that I use in that demo lesson, you can choose that. Or if you think that there were discussion questions related to context, you can choose that. Or brainstorming with a mind map on topic, or examining realia related to the topic, and taking notes on key vocabulary. Okay, so yeah, now I am sharing with you the responses. Okay. Okay. So now in the responses, I have the majority have chosen the taking notes on key vocabulary. Okay, taking notes on key vocabulary. Okay, I'm gonna share the QR code again. So let me just, no worries. Okay, so here is the QR code. You can use the QR code again. Um, good. All right. So you can go there and yeah. So here I have this. Okay, let's see. Interesting. Interesting. Let me make it bigger. Okay. Interesting because we have look at the picture and make guesses. Interesting. So brains 20%, and then brainstorming with a mind map. Uh, we got the 40% and 40% about taking notes on a key vocabulary. Okay, so now things are even. So 33% for three options. Okay, that's more interesting. Okay, okay. So remember, this was the pre-stage of the demo lesson. Let me just share again the PowerPoint, and I will go back to the first, this one. Okay, I think I'm sharing now the PowerPoint. Can you confirm, please?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So now here, this was the first activity. So I asked questions to my students. For that reason, the option is the one with 14% discussion questions related to content. Okay, let's see why not is looking at a picture and make guesses. Because in the activity, I didn't ask my student, hey, look at this picture and tell me what can you see in the picture. Are they, do you think they are family members or so? No, I didn't ask that kind of questions. Why not brainstorming with a mind map on topic? Even if I have here like 29%, it's not a brainstorming with a mind map on topic because I didn't ask my students to tell me ideas and we were creating like connections in a mind map. No, I didn't ask for that. And why not taking notes on key vocabulary? Because if you, let me show you again. So I didn't ask my students to take notes on vocabulary. What I just did, it was just asking or discussing these three questions to activate the student's knowledge. That this was my lead-in activity. Maybe you are more familiar with the name of lead-in. So yeah, I mean, of course, some people mix the expressions warm up and lead in, but now we know that they are not the same. So a warm up is something a bit different. So this is a lead in activity. So here we have, how many close friends do you have? What qualities do you look for in a friend? Do you think friends influence your success? And remember that this is a B2 level lesson. So so here it is supposed that students, they can produce a little bit more vocabulary than a student with an A1 or A2 level. So that's why these were three questions that they discuss in this one. Okay, so just for you to refresh, look at the second activity. Look at this is called early during activity. The early during activity. Okay. So for the early during activity, so here we are. So please go to the early during question, and there are one, two, three. There are four options. There are four options. I'm just allowing the second slide for Mentimeter. Okay. So here, okay. Good. So there, the options are students choose which of the three pictures or options relates to text. Another option is identify how many people are speaking. Check off relevant information from list. Or hold up cards when they hear certain words. Okay, which one do you think was the activity that they did in my early during demo lesson? Okay, all right, good. So 80% went for check off relevant information from list, which I would say that is correct. Yes. So let's go back to the presentation? Yes. So here, in the early during stage, they had to listen to the beginning of the interview and they have to check which statements are true. So we can maintain friendship, we need exactly, or social media. So yes, they just tick what they heard. Good. All right. Now let's move to the second listening is called the later during stage. Look at the stage, look at the exercise, and please right now go to Mentimeter again, and let me just use the later during. Okay, here we have. Which of the following activities was used in the later during stage of the demo lesson? So we have the options: complete a gap fill or a close exercise, or add details to a graphic organizer, fill in a chart, or true false activity. Okay, okay, good. All right, nice. Okay. Okay, so the participants are, between a detailed geography organizer and filling a chart. So let's see which one was the correct one. Okay, so let me go again to the demo lesson. Okay, so what they have to do, so complete the chart. They have to fill in details about the types of friends mentioned. Yes, they have to complete a chart. So let me just clarify perhaps here. So why is not adding details to a graphic organizer? So in a graphic organizer, maybe you have a pie chart, maybe, or a bar chart, for example, right? So, but this is just a chart, a regular, in which they have to fill in details. And well, so is complete a gap fill or close. Normally, a gap fill activity is when you have a sentence and the sentence is missing a specific word or expression. So here they didn't have to fill or complete that missing word or missing expression. No, that's why completing a gap fill is not the correct option. So fill in a chart. Yes, they have just to complete some information with a chart. Remember, maybe some of you maybe say, but this could be a graphic organizer, maybe, but graphic organizers normally they are bar charts, pie charts, so this kind of graphic organizer. This was just a chart, like a table, so you have, Okay, so now let's move to the next one. The third time that they listen to the recording, which is called the final during stage. Okay, here, just for refreshing your memory, they had to number the types of friends in order mentioned. I mean, so at the moment that they're saying, neighbors is one of the one type of friends that you can have because they blah, 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 blah. So, okay, they mentioned neighbors, so it is number one. And then they mentioned work colleagues. Okay, that is number two. Okay, so, well, here, according to this activity in Mentimeter, let's choose. Which of the following activities was used in the final during stage of the demo lesson? We have 5 options. Make a decision based on the information. Take notes in order to retell story. Order events or lyrics. Labeling details in pictures. Marking stress or intonation. Which activity do you think it is the last time that they listen to the recording? Okay. Okay, good. Excellent. Right. Good. 75% of the participants here mentioned other events or lyrics. Okay. Let me tell you, yes, you are right. It was order events. Why not labeling details in pictures? Okay, it's not possible because I didn't ask my students to, or I didn't present pictures to label something. No, I didn't do that. So what I did is just number the type of friends in order mentioned. That's what they did in the demo lesson. Okay, now, finally, this is the last stage of the PDP lesson. The name is post listening or post reading, depending on the skill that you are using. Remember, they drew a personal friendship map, categorizing your friends according to the 6 types mentioned in the interview and present the poster. Okay, so that was they had to do in my lesson. Now let's go to Menti again and post. Okay, which of the following activities was used in the post stage of the demo lesson? So we have here 5 options. Okay, discussion questions about personal opinion and experience with the topic, writing an alternate ending to the text, recommending similar songs, movies, correcting mistakes in a transcript or in a lyric, or making a poster about a related topic, right? What do you think it was my last activity? So remember that this practice is just for you to recognize what types of activities. I am not saying that you only or you need to, like uh, obligatory use the only activity that I present. No, no, no. So this is just the demo lesson. So I mean, so you can use all of these activities in your lessons depending on what you want to teach your students and how productive you want to you want them to be, right? So your students. So that's why this is the one. Okay, so I think with this activity, everybody is correct. Making a poster about a related topic. Yeah, that was the correct answer. Yes, very good. Okay, so they made a poster. Okay, let me move to this one. Okay. So let me just refresh and maybe more activities, more exercises that you can use in the different stages of a PDP lesson plan. So for example, in the pre-stage, you can use to activate your students' prior knowledge of the topic. So what you can do is do this type of exercise. Look at the picture and make guesses. Maybe you can present a picture and they say, okay, so what do you see here? So what they are doing? Can you describe this type of things? Um, of course, depending on the level of your students. For some of them, so I mean, making guesses, looking at the picture, maybe can be very useful for students with a B1, B2 level, of course, C1 level, yes. So, but in A1, A2, maybe so looking at the picture and making guesses is gonna be like or the information that they're going to provide is not gonna be like the complete information, or maybe for them it's going to be difficult to produce vocabulary to tell you what they are looking at. So yeah, but discussion questions related to context, yes. So here, discussion questions, so you can like adapt the questions according to the level of your students. Maybe you can just ask questions related to the topic. If in this case of friends, so maybe I'm referring it specifically to the topic of the type of friends. Maybe in lower levels, maybe you can say, okay, so how many friends do you have? Those are questions that they can respond. So, oh, I have just one friend or two friends. Why just one friend? These type of discussions questions in order to engage students with the topic. Brainstorming with a mind map on topic. That's another activity. Examining realia related to the topic. I mean, depending on what you are going to teach, so you can bring realia to the classroom, and maybe you can just examine that realia with your students. And taking notes on key vocabulary or matching words to definitions. That's another thing. So maybe you can activate your students' knowledge, presenting like 4 or 5 words that are going to be presented in the listening or in the reading text, and maybe you can make them match with the definition. That's something that you can also do. Or predicting what will be in the listening text. For example, so predicting is something that is also very useful, especially for B1, B2 level learners. In this case, predicting what will be in the listening text, maybe you present just the title and you present maybe like a picture. And then you can ask, okay, look at the picture, look at the title, tell me what do you think is going to be the listening about? Or can you predict what you will read in the text? Something like that. Okay, so that's what you can do in the pre-stage. In the early during, so remember, this is the first time that they are going to listen to the recording. So what activities are very, very useful for this? So I have a list here. For instance, students choose which of 3 pictures or options relates to text. So you present 3 pictures, and then you say, okay, listen to the recording and tell me which one of these 3 pictures represent the recording. Okay, so maybe, I don't know, so perhaps according to the demo lesson, maybe you present a picture of maybe animals in the zoo, and then you are presenting another picture about, I don't know, food, and the other picture is about a group of people. So, and then, okay, so they are talking about friends. So for me, the picture is the one with people, right? So it's not possible with the zoo or with the food, so you can use this kind of thing. So the early during with this activity is like just they listen to get a general idea of the text. It's just for that, just to get a general idea. Another activity is identify mood of text. For example, happy, angry, surprise. I mean, so maybe you just play the recording and say, okay, so is this person excited? Is this person frustrated? Listen to the tone of the voice or the mood of the text. Is the text like a the author of the text is do you think is or agrees with this idea or disagrees with this idea, something like that. So identify general position of the text, as I mentioned before, or identifying general opinion, like is a good bad thing, is convenient or is inconvenient. So that's another activity. Or listen to background noise to establish setting. For example, you just in the early during, so you are not focusing in the conversation or in the interview or whatever they have to listen, but they just have to establish the setting, where they are. Are they in a movie theater? Are they at a restaurant? Are they in an office? Are they at the airport? So where do you think the people are? Okay, so that's what you can ask for this first activity that they have to listen. Identify how many people are speaking. Yeah, so maybe you say, okay, you will listen to an interview, you will listen to this conversation. Tell me how many people are speaking. And then they don't have to, at this early during stage, they don't have to understand exactly something specific. It's just to get a general idea of the listening or reading text. Another thing is label general section of the text, perhaps in a graphic organizer or a chart, or identifying purpose, for example, persuading, apologizing, inviting, asking for permission, something like that. Or mark if predictions were correct or incorrect. Maybe in the pre-stage, you ask your students to predict what will be in the listening text or in the reading text. So, and then here in the early during, what you are going to do is just mark if the predictions were correct or incorrect, because they listen just to get a general idea. Check off relevant information from this as my exercise that I presented in the demo. And another one could be hold up cards when you hear certain words. Maybe here you give your students like a, I don't know, you give cards with words. So at the moment, let's suppose that in A1 or A2 level, in a listening recording, so a word is repeated like 5 times, 4 times. So maybe you can just use cards. You can give your students, or they can create their own cards with the words that you provide them. So when they say, okay, at the moment that you listen the word, for instance, friend. So at the moment that you listen to the word friend, so you will hold up card. So when every time you hear the word, the word understand, so then they have to hold up cards. So that's what they can do, and especially these are especially for A1, A2 level learners. Okay, so those are some options that you can have for these activities. Okay, so let's have a look at the yellow, later during. Later during. In the later during also, of course, some activities can be repeated depending on the purpose of your lesson. So can be repeated in the different stages. But my suggestion is that if you use, for example, as I'm presenting right now in the later during, hold up cards when you hear certain words. This could be also in the later during, in the second time that they listen to the recording. That could be valid also. But here, as you can notice, complete gap fill or close exercise. So here, because it's more detailed information, you can make them complete a gap fill exercise. Here is not just for a general comprehension of the text, but here's for more detailed information. So add details to a graphic organizer is another possibility, or fill in a chart, or make guesses about meaning or interpretation of specific sections in the listening or reading. Another could be ordering, numbering items, ranking. Yes, so that would be very useful, a ranking, or true false exercise. I think this is the most common exercise that we present our students. So a true false or a multiple choice exercise with specific questions about the text. Label pictures or part of pictures is another activity. Matching pictures with a description, writing short answers, or stand up or sit according to what you hear. As you can notice, the last one is more for kinesthetic students, perhaps. I mean, if you have students with this kind of you know kind of learning, that could be very, very useful. So you make, okay, so according to what you hear, so you will hear this word, so you stand up. If you hear this word, you sit down, and things like that. Okay. So the third time that they listen to the recording is the final during. And here there are some options in blue. So we have make a decision based on information, filling closed passages, as you can notice, is like very similar as a complete close exercise. So if you didn't use that one in the later during, so you can use it in the final during. Check information and correct mistakes, maybe. Yeah. So that's another activity you can do. Take notes in order to tell story. Draw a picture of what you heard. Answer interpretation questions, order events or lyrics, writing short answers, labeling details in picture, decipher a rapid speech by writing out specific words, number of phrases, marking stress or intonation. This is what you can use for the final during. Remember, as I mentioned before, the activities that you use either later or final during, this would be the activity with the most significant uh, representation for the understanding of the text, or the listening of the reading text. Okay, so and that is about the listening. Okay, so you have them listen 3 times the recording, or you have them read 3 times the text. So that's it. Then it is the post. The post, um, in the post, what you have is this kind of activities, for example. And remember, the post activity or the post stage is optional. I mean, it's not mandatory, because the main purpose of these reading and listening is to understand the text. This is just optional, the post one. For instance, maybe you say, okay, you know what? So I just have 40 minutes lesson. I think it's gonna be just enough for me just to finish with the final during. Okay, perfect. Because you have accomplished with the objective of the lesson, that they have to listen to the recording or they have to read the text, and that's it. But if you have time, if you have like a 5 minutes, or if you have like 10 minutes in a 40-minute lesson, so you can also include the post, because here is not dealing with the receptive skill. Here we are dealing with the productive skills. Could be speaking or writing. Let's have a look at the activities. Can be discussion questions about personal opinion and experience with the topic, writing an alternate ending to the text, writing a response to the text, for example, like an advice or disagreement, something about the text, creating a new verse of the lyric of a song, especially if you are dealing, I mean, if they are listening to a song, so maybe they can, as a post activity, they can create their own version of the lyric of the song. Maybe you say, okay, change the chorus of the song. Maybe that can be something useful. Making a poster about a related topic, as in the example of my demo lesson, discussing, listing how the topic applies to the student's country, city, or school. So here is more personalized, so like asking questions like, is something that might happen in your city or in Ecuador? Do we have something similar? Something like that. So writing a review of the text, recommending similar songs or movies. For example, if you are like watching a movie, or if you are maybe teaching a song. Okay, so maybe recommend similar songs at the moment, so to create like a very good environment for students. So, oh yeah, I can recommend, teacher, I can recommend you this song because it's very similar as the topic in the song that you presented in this class, something like that. Correcting mistakes in a transcript or lyrics. Again, here could be the transcript of the recording. So, and then you present the recording, the transcript of the recording, and you say, okay, so what is the incorrect sentence here? Or what was wrong in this lyrics for the song? Learning to use structures and content in the text, second to productive skills lesson. Yeah. So here it's all related to the productive skills, speaking or writing. And yeah, so, all right. Now I think we are going to have time for, or some minutes to discuss. Maybe we can discuss here with the open microphone. Uh, you can just open your microphone and you can tell me about other types of activities that you have used as a teacher, of course, in your past lesson, and share with us how effective they were. Okay, so now I think it's time for you to open your microphone and let me know your comments, if you have used maybe similar activities, or if I just skip some activities that you constantly use, and you say, but Erick is not using this very useful activity that I always use. So now is your time to tell us here uh, what activities you used and how effective they were. Okay, so let me know. Yes, hello.
Hello, this is Tanya. Well, I don't know. This is not a new one. It's not different what you said, but it is very useful for me because when we show pictures, especially in histories, what I try to do, because the book that I use for it is like episodes. What I try to use is, what do you think would happen in the next episode? Or before reading the history, I asked him, what do you think will be happen during this episode? What do you think they are, the characters are? It's very similar as you explained before, but that's one of the most useful activities that I used to use.
Great, great, very good, Tanya. So, predicting what they are going to, encounter or face in the
Yeah, predicting,
lesson.
that's the word.
Okay, good, interesting. Thank you for sharing, Tanya. Is there any other participant who may want to share something like in your past lesson? You use maybe another type of activity in either of the stages. So, for example, Tanya shared about the pre-stage. Um, for instance, if you use other type of activities, for instance, in the later, during, or maybe you just use just two times listening. I don't know. Perhaps maybe your time consumption is bigger, and with the different recordings or text in your books that you are using in your schools, maybe you just use two. But I mean, it's highly recommended that you try to make them listen at least three times a text, or yeah, listening or reading. So three times, because so one is just to get general idea, and then two activities to show understanding of the text. That's what I can just recommend. Okay, so if there's no more participants to share, I would say that that's all that I can share with you. This is just my little experience with this framework. I have to be honest, this framework has helped me a lot with my listening and reading lessons with my students at university. So that's why I really recommend. So at the moment that I just have the book, I mean, the book that we use here in our institution, I just look at the exercises that are presented and say, okay, let's try to adapt. I'm gonna use the recording, but I'm not gonna use the questions or the exercise provided by the book. So I am going to adapt the recording, maybe the exercise that is presenting in the book is not very relevant for my students, so I just try to adapt it with one of the activities in the different stages of the PDP framework. Okay, so I can say that that's it. Thank you very much, and if you have some questions, now I think is the time. So Danielle, so I don't know if you are going to like maybe host the questions, or
Yes,
how
thank you.
the
Thank
process.
you so much, Eric, for your presentation. It was really useful. I know that all teachers are really interested to learn something new. And this topic is really interesting because you know how difficult sometimes it's for us to teach listening, reading in our classrooms. And in this method, in this way, you're really simplifying and giving a clear explanation about how we can achieve and improve the skills of our students in our classroom. So I really appreciate, in the name of ECUATESOL, in the name of the teachers of Ecuador, I would like to thank you. Please do not forget to complete the registration form. And as I told you before, at the beginning, the second week of July, you will be receiving your certificates, and coming soon, the series number 2 of our webinars. So thank you very much, Eric. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful afternoon for you and for everyone.
Thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure to
Thank
be
you so
here.
much. you, Mister. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr.